I'm healthier now than most 20-year-olds, and I believe much of that comes from the new diet I follow. I can clearly see steady improvements over time. Meet Dr. David Sinclair, professor of genetics at Harvard Medical School. This is Dr. Sinclair in 2013, and this is him today. He was 44 years old then. Now he is 54. Yet, in many ways, he seems to look younger. Over the years, he has adjusted his eating habits and changed his lifestyle. Scientifically, he says his body has become biologically younger. I've reviewed my blood chemistry, and I'm actually younger and healthier than I've ever been, he explains. Testosterone, glucose, inflammation, blood cell composition, most of those markers show I'm healthier than an average 20-year-old. In this video, we'll break down his scientific findings into 5 clear sections. His exercise rule for longevity, his most important eating habit for long life, the foods he chooses, the supplements he takes daily, the foods he avoids. By living in a healthy, controlled way, you can slow the pace of aging, protect your body's software, and even help restore it. 1 simple exercise rule. Dr. Sinclair's approach to exercise is straightforward. Work out 3 times a week and push yourself until you lose your breath. You should move fast enough that holding a conversation becomes difficult. That's when you know your body is slightly hypoxic, low on oxygen, which triggers positive stress responses. This improves muscle growth, blood flow, and signals your tissues to release molecules that slow aging. Just 10 minutes of breath-losing effort 3 times a week can offer impressive benefits, including reducing disease risk by about 30%. The most important eating habit for longevity. The key eating habit for a longer life is simple: eat less often. It's not only what you eat, it's also when you eat. Constantly consuming 3 meals plus snacks accelerates aging. Dr. Sinclair prefers eating within a 6-hour window each day. Over time, he learned to skip meals. While he's not perfect, sometimes he enjoys breakfast in beautiful places. He aims to avoid a large meal until dinner, where he chooses a healthy vegan option. So why does time-restricted eating help? When you eat only once a day, your body enters a state that can make you feel younger, sometimes literally resembling your 20-year-old self. The real benefit comes from periods without food, which strengthen the body's defense systems against aging. Long fasting windows promote deep cellular cleaning through autophagy, the recycling of old proteins. A group of genes known as sirtuins, covered in his book Lifespan, activate when the body is low on energy. Low sugar and low protein intake stimulate these genes, which help protect the body from aging-related damage. Fasting may also support people dealing with conditions like type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, and even cancer. Some studies show that combining fasting with chemotherapy can create additional benefits for certain cancers. Here's a practical tip from Dr. Sinclair for anyone starting intermittent fasting. Stay filled with fluids. Drink coffee, tea, or hot water throughout the day. Staying hydrated reduces hunger. Eating a few nuts can also help, as a bit of protein quickly calms hunger. Aim for at least 16 hours of not eating, or eating very little, and an 8-hour eating window. This often means having a late lunch if you skip breakfast or skipping dinner if you prefer. This gives your body long periods, sometimes over 20 hours, without external glucose. After a few weeks, your body adapts. Your liver learns to compensate by producing its own glucose, a process called gluconeogenesis. This naturally reduces hunger. Stick with the plan for at least 2 weeks. By week 3, your liver understands your routine and maintains steady glucose levels. This helps prevent the glucose spikes and drops that cause intense hunger after large meals. During his 6-hour eating window, what exactly does Dr. Sinclair choose to eat? He explains that he shifted almost entirely to plant-based foods, and his body has reacted well. He says he looks healthier, his skin has improved, he feels better overall, and his memory has noticeably sharpened. When you observe populations known for exceptional longevity, you'll often find they are generally smaller individuals, often women, who consume modest portions and tend to eat mostly plant-based diets. That's simply what the data shows. But does he eat any type of plant? Not quite. He focuses on what he calls stress plants. This idea centers on a concept known as xenohormesis, a hypothesis suggesting that specific molecules in stressed plants, particularly polyphenols, may provide benefits to the organisms that consume them. These benefits include supporting longevity and enhancing resilience by triggering cellular stress response pathways. Dr. Sinclair and Conrad Howitz coined the term xenohormesis in the mid-2000s to help explain why so many plant molecules appear beneficial. It didn't seem like a coincidence. Their thinking was inspired by a 2003 Nature paper they co-published, which identified around 20 polyphenols capable of activating a sirtuin enzyme called SIRT1. Once examined more deeply, these plant molecules demonstrated remarkable effects on the body. The most publicized was resveratrol, found in red wine, but there are others like piceatanol, fisetin, and quercetin, supplements gaining popularity today. These compounds influence key pathways and proteins linked to health and longevity. So how can we tell if a food has been stressed? Generally, plants grown organically outdoors without pesticides tend to experience more stress. As Dr. Sinclair puts it, if your food is stressed, you get the benefits. Stress your food so you don't have to. He recommends choosing plants rich in color, bright reds, purples, and dark greens, because these often contain high levels of polyphenols that activate the body's protective systems. In his lab, mice given polyphenols actually became healthier and performed better physically, almost as if they had been exercising. What specific stress plants does Dr. Sinclair personally consume? In the mornings, he drinks green tea, another stress-rich food loaded with polyphenols. He usually has matcha, a thick, vibrant green tea high in EGCG, which offers notable anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer properties. He also eats a variety of leafy greens, especially spinach. Spinach, he notes, provides iron and a wide range of vitamins. For cooking, he favors olive oil, common in Mediterranean cuisine, because its oleic acid also activates sirtuins. He believes the Mediterranean diet is likely the most practical and impactful option for many people in the Western world. For anyone who finds a fully vegetarian diet difficult, Dr. Sinclair mentions that Mediterranean or Okinawan eating patterns are strong alternatives. He followed the Okinawan diet for years before switching to a fully plant-based lifestyle. That diet was largely carbohydrate-based, with plenty of rice, though he admits white rice can spike glucose levels. Most of his meals consisted of Chinese or Japanese vegetables from local markets, organic, fresh, nutrient-dense, and soy-based with only small amounts of fish. There are also 3 supplements Dr. Sinclair is widely known to take daily. Before explaining them, he emphasizes that he does not recommend brands, endorse products, or sell supplements of any kind. He notes a shift in the scientific view of aging. People once thought antioxidants were the solution, but research shows they have not been effective at extending lifespan even in simple organisms. Of the 3 substances he uses consistently, the first is resveratrol. He takes about 1 gram mixed with a bit of yogurt. The second is NMN, a form of vitamin B3 that the body converts into NAD, a molecule essential for life. As we age, NAD levels decline, and sirtuins, the longevity genes his lab helped discover, cannot function without adequate NAD. By taking NMN, he says his NAD levels return to what they were around age 20. Early clinical studies from Harvard colleagues suggest NMN may help lower cholesterol and blood pressure, which is why he includes it in his routine. These choices form the core of Dr. Sinclair's daily dietary and supplemental approach. After a few weeks, your body adapts. Your liver learns to compensate by producing its own glucose, a process called gluconeogenesis. This naturally reduces hunger. Stick with the plan for at least 2 weeks. By week 3, your liver understands your routine and maintains steady glucose levels. This helps prevent the glucose spikes and drops that cause intense hunger after large meals. Every day as well. Third one is metformin. Metformin is a bit more debated because it's a drug. It's classified as a medication, but that doesn't automatically make it harmful. In fact, it's considered one of the safest drugs worldwide. It's mainly used for type 2 diabetes to help manage blood sugar. What research shows is that people who take metformin often live longer, even those who don't have diabetes. There is evidence that it may protect against cardiovascular disease, frailty, and even Alzheimer's disease. Top 1 food. David Sinclair does not eat. Now let's shift to what Dr. Sinclair removed from his diet for longevity. The first one is sugar. The main issue is sugar. Glucose, and especially fructose, can be harmful. When animals are given high amounts of glucose or fructose, they develop fatty liver disease and diabetes. It's very damaging. One of the best predictors of long-term longevity is your blood sugar level. High blood sugar attaches to proteins in your body, causing a kind of caramelization. Cancer cells also thrive on sugar. They rely on it for energy. That's yet another reason to keep your sugar intake low. Try not to consume too much fruit, especially avoid fruit juices. Those sudden sugar spikes are not healthy over time. Your body can make its own sugar. Your liver produces glucose. It usually takes about 2 weeks for your liver to adjust, but once it does, it learns to supply sugar on its own. My experience has been that my liver creating glucose is much more reliable than me eating sugar. There's even a trick. You can eat your sugary foods at the end of a meal to reduce blood sugar spikes. You can cut back without being extreme. I still enjoy a few scoops of ice cream when I see it, but I'm not eating big bowls every night. We now understand why reducing sugar matters. If needed, you can try healthier alternatives. There are substitutes like monk fruit, allulose, and stevia. Stevia is the one I personally use most under the sugar alternatives category. Top 2 food David Sinclair does not eat. Next is bread. Bread is one of the foods he removed from his meals. The first major change I made was cutting out many carbohydrates. I used to eat bread daily. Almost everything I ate was on toast. When I removed bread, I saw immediate improvements in my biochemistry, especially my glucose levels. If you eat toast for breakfast, or worse, a big glass of orange juice, you will get a sugar spike. You'll feel good for a while, but then your body releases too much insulin, pulling the glucose out of your blood. This leaves you in a glucose deficit called hypoglycemia. Then you get hungry, ghrelin increases, and you feel the need to eat again. But now I don't get these highs and lows. My liver releases glucose from morning until dinner. I've never felt more focused or free of brain fog. These crashes make you feel tired, shaky, and unfocused. I wish I had known this in my 20s. I've never felt better since making this change. Top 3. Food. David Sinclair does not eat. The next food I removed was meat, and that improved my numbers even further. My cholesterol and triglycerides dropped, and I have a family history of heart disease. It's not just the protein. The fat that comes with steak and other meats also plays a role. I enjoy meat. I think it tastes great. But research clearly shows that plants offer more benefits for longevity than meat. Plant proteins have amino acid ratios that activate longevity genes like sirtuins and mTOR in a healthier way. If you eat meat at every meal, your body may not fight aging as effectively as it could with more plant-based foods. You can still eat meat occasionally. Fish, for example, has excellent omega-3 fatty acids. I'm not against meat. I just recommend prioritizing plants when possible. Top 4 food David Sinclair does not eat. Next was dairy. I removed dairy just to test it, assuming nothing would change. I'm not allergic or lactose intolerant, but it still made a difference. Things improved even more. I believe I was consuming a large amount of protein, not just fat, but eggs and other dairy. And reducing protein seems to have activated the mTOR pathway in a healthier way, which is important for longevity in both animals and likely humans. Top 5 food. David Sinclair does not eat. The new research from the last couple of years shows that drinking alcohol daily is not good for health. So I stopped drinking alcohol and focused on eating more plants. But if you don't want to give up wine completely, here's one more point from Dr. Sinclair. When choosing red wine, pick grape varieties that respond strongly to stress. Pinot Noir is one of the most stress-sensitive varieties, which is why it contains the highest amount of resveratrol compared to other wines. After a few weeks, your body adapts. your liver learns to compensate by producing its own glucose, a process called gluconeogenesis. This naturally reduces hunger. Stick with the plan for at least 2 weeks. By week 3, your liver understands your routine and maintains steady glucose levels. This helps prevent the glucose spikes and drops that cause intense hunger after large meals.